talking about increased item quantity stacking and why it's so good and why I use it in running in maps. I'm not going to talk about map drops. I'm going to have a whole nother video on how I roll maps and increased item quantity in maps. But I just want to talk about why we stack increased item quantity as opposed to rarity. So quantity in this game is really good because it basically gives you more chances at finding the items that you're interested in. In our particular case, divination cards and raw currency drops are what we're interested in. And the best way to kind of explain this is to give you an example. So a character that has 100% increased item quantity and a character that has 0%, basically the person with 100% is finding twice as much items on the ground. This doesn't include maps, but it includes everything from like currency to the normal stuff that you see on the ground. Let me turn down my loot filter here so you can see all the stuff on the ground. Basically, this person with 100% would be getting twice as much of all this stuff. A lot of this stuff is not relevant, but it gives you the chance at finding some really good loot on the ground. Rarity is less important. That only controls whether it's kind of normal rarity, magical rarity, rare rarity, or unique rarity. And so we don't really prefer rarity as a stat. It is probably the best it's ever been because Shaper and Elder items can only drop as rare rarity, but that's kind of so marginal that we don't really care about that. So in my example with the person that has 100% increased item quantity against the player who's maybe got 0%, the person at 0% may be able to run a lot faster. So they can maybe clear a map even twice as fast. But you would think that those would be equal in terms of drops, but it's not because the person with increased item quantity is getting more per map. So less initial investment, less maps that they have to put in the map device, less sextants that they have to use. So you can see why increased item quantity is so powerful. There is a balance though. I have some items here. So I'm using the Venters, the Gold Worms, and the Biscos, but not using like Sedima's and Bisco's Leash. And that's because I'm trying to balance how much increased item quantity I have versus how fast I can move and how powerful I am in those maps. And so I think, it's important to try and balance how much quantity and how much move speed and toughness that you lose depending on what content you want to do. And there's no 100% correct answer around that. Just know that stacking more quantity is better and that it will pay off in the long term. All right, that's it for this short video. In our next one, we will cover kind of sustaining maps and what I do to my maps. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this content, and I will see you guys in the next one.